Hi, everyone. We're Among the Realms. We're Jackie and Rodney, and Mark had a firehouse dinner tonight, and Dana wasn't able to make it. She was very disappointed.
This is a good episode, too.
Yeah,
this is a fun one. Yeah.
We have a few guests, and we are talking about werewolves today and personal experiences and true stories. So we have a few guests that are going to be sharing their stories today, and we're very excited about this show.
Yes, they're going to be calling in here soon. So we're going to hear Gene's story from his great-grandfathers and Michelle. She has another story, too.
Yep.
On behalf of somebody, and they're awesome.
Yep. Our first guest, we're going to call him now. And so we're
going to bring in Gene, his name is, from also New Jersey, and he's going to be telling us a story about something that happened to his grandfather, I believe, right?
Great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Gene.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Gene.
Good, thank you. Hi, this is Rodney?
I'm Rodney. How you doing?
Good, Rodney. How are you?
Very good, very good. Good to talk to you.
So
cool, that's great.
We introduced a little bit and just said you had a few stories to share, and one of them was your great-grandfather, right?
My great-grandfather, Vincent, who grew up in Bari, Italy, which is on the east coast, on the Adriatic Sea, down by the heel of Italy, if you look at it that way. And both he and the other guy that I'm talking about were cousins. And they were both afraid of the full moon. When I was very young, in single digits, back in the 60s, actually, my great-grandfather occasionally would tell us stories of werewolves in Italy when he was a little boy. And my brother and I, my late brother and I, used to love hearing these stories. And he was at our house 3 days before he passed in 1973. Telling us those stories, and we loved it, and I'm sure he got a big thrill out of being able to tell them too. But the one that I remember was of a newly married couple, and the husband had said to the wife, I guess this had to be a full moon, I guess, look, I'm going out tonight, lock the doors, whatever you do, don't look out the window, don't answer the door no matter what you hear. And a little while later, she hears like banging on the door, and she hears growling and howling and all this, all this racket at the door. The morning comes. He comes home. He's disheveled. The front door had like claw marks on it.
Oh wow!
Which was kind of cool. I mean, for me to hear, not for her, obviously, but
evidence.
And yeah, but his cousin, Peter, who was sponsored by my great-grandfather to come over here from Italy in the late 50s, early 60s, I think, was a builder, like my grandfather. And just not a few years ago, I'd say a good 10, 15 years ago, he happened to be coming by the house here where I live, because my grandfather built these houses. My grandfather was a builder, an Italian into building. Who would have thought, right? So he came by, and my mom was unloading groceries from the car. I was inside. I didn't know that this was going on at the moment. And he had a very interesting way of saying that he was thinking of my grandfather. He says, your father was in front of my eyes, which I thought was a very unique way of saying, hey, they just kind of came to mind. Yeah, and he came by the houses because he knew he built these houses. He saw my mom. My mom said, well, come in, because he's basically family. So we're sitting at the table having coffee, and we're talking about the family, and I happened to mention my great-grandfather and how he used to tell us the stories of werewolves in Italy without missing a beat, or without any kind of look in his face that would make me think that he was just kidding. He said, oh, yeah. I'm like, excuse me?
Just like it was everyday knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, it kind of took it out of the realm of my great-grandfather just entertaining us,
Yeah.
and into the realm of, yeah, this happened.
Yeah. This was
Because,
real.
yeah, well, he said, oh, yeah. He goes, and he then immediately launched into a story of his own when he was a young man coming home from work late one night in Italy, same side of Italy. And he happened to walk past the cemetery to get to the house. And he hears this growl and howl. And the hair went up on the back of his neck. And he ran home. In the meantime, having whatever this was chasing him.
Oh, wow.
And his mom, heard it, opened the door, grabbed him, pulled him in, and shut the door.
Wow.
As they heard this growling and howling and banging at the door go past the house. But I never, ever got the sense that any of this was actually crap, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that they were just
They
making it
believed
up.
it. Yeah, especially the way my great-grandfather told it. He would look down at the table and he would use his, being Italian, use his hands to describe
Yeah.
this or that. And the same thing with Pete, because Pete was actually very respected in Kenilworth, not too far from here, because he owned some buildings there and so forth. And of course, being a builder, and same thing, he just launched right into it. Not even, let me see if I can make something. There was no hesitation. Bam, bam. And they were both afraid of full moons,
Yeah.
as my mom reminded me. But another interesting thing, I'm not even sure that this is werewolf territory. My mom reminded me of her Uncle Nick, who was her grandmother's brother. She asked me if I remembered him, and I had no recollection of him because I would have been very, very young. And she goes, "You don't remember him? He kind of looked crazy. He had big bushy eyebrows." I'm like, "No." And she said that he would lock himself in the basement because the witches would come and make him dance with them against his will.
Wow.
Whoa.
Was that in Italy also?
Yes.
There is a correlation between witches and werewolves
yeah.
in Europe specifically.
Yeah, because it's believed, one of the beliefs is that a witch, puts a salve on somebody and then they turn into, a werewolf. There's a lot of different beliefs of, how it comes about. Some people say they get bitten, but it's funny you're saying that because witches, there's a correlation between witches and werewolves.
Yeah, they used to say that witches had the ability to turn into werewolves as long as they had the ability to make this specific potion or salve with the ingredients. And
I happened to mention to my mom, I said, I don't remember, because before you called, I was talking with her a little bit about this. I said, is there anything that you might remember that I don't? Because she would have had a little bit longer, obviously.
Yeah.
A little bit longer of,
Experience
contact
time,
with them
yeah.
than I did. And I said to her, I don't remember that either one of them mentioned a full moon. She goes, well, they were both afraid of the full moon because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay. Because I didn't know what was myth and what was reality, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. And most people we've talked to that have had experiences or heard them through family or friends or anything, they have a different type of fear than people who come across other types of things, and just the amount of, it's terror. It's you can tell
it's human,
they almost,
your instincts kicking at its best, complete flight or fight,
and they
which
suffer
is usually
from a
freeze.
type of trauma from it. So they say that werewolf what do you call them, interactions with them, or people who've actually had real life, hey, we saw them type of things. It's something hard for them to get past.
Yeah, it seems to be, now that you mentioned that, it seems to be a fear of something, for lack of a better way to put it, you might understand this better than what I'm saying, a fear of something bigger and deeper
Yeah.
than, say, for instance, being afraid to go to school and get beaten up by the bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something larger. It's something more supernatural.
Yeah,
It's
something
something
more
you know you
mysterious.
have no chance of battling.
Yeah, and they're huge.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like your instincts just kind of take over
Yeah.
and tell you, oh, this is not something that you should be around.
Yeah. When you
Right.
can't explain it.
Yeah.
It's something more real.
Yeah.
Like not a fear that is happening in your head.
Especially if it makes a
Yeah,
connection with you, you know, like if it looks at you, if it,
Yeah, and
if
that's
it
the
knows,
thing a lot of
if,
people
if
say.
it lays its
Yeah.
sights on you, like you were just telling us, and he was running home to get into the door as fast as he can. That's just a primal instinct at its best.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
survival.
So obviously
Like you were
that
saying,
area
fight or
that they
flight.
were in, that was obviously known there, because it seems like everybody was already prepared
Yeah.
if they already knew what it was.
Yeah, and I think a lot of modern sensibilities, for lack of a better way to put it, and yet again, you guys would know better probably than I would. A lot of modern sensibilities have poo-pooed that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
stuff, where this is something that's real primal and basic and real and a little bit more ingrained
Yeah.
than some of the more modern stuff that says, oh, that's just hooey, you
Yeah,
know, really?
that's just-
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
just pure folklore.
Yeah.
But there's too many people that have experiences with something that look like a wolf standing on, two legs,
Sometimes,
or
yeah.
like I said, they sometimes interchange it with the dog man, which is a little bit of a difference, but still, it's the same concept of a wolf head. But it's like the body, it's almost like it's human, even though
Supernatural.
it's covered with fur, but it has hands that are almost human. And and then it has a stature that's so,
Dominant presence.
grimacing and big and overwhelming. So when you have a lot of stories or encounters that you hear about, it's hard to just dismiss them. And they're all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, France is supposed to be one of the most known places for a lot of the stories I know. So there's a lot in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised
Yeah,
that
I mean,
he had that many in Italy.
and yeah, and multiple people have had experiences too that you know, and it's funny when we were listening to some stories here in this country, in Ohio especially, a lot of incidences that happen. It's usually one of those things where like the town will say it every once in a while, like, oh yeah, and it's been known around town that people have seen this thing in
Yeah.
the woods, and
That's what it sounds like with what
it kind of sounds
Gene's
like the same
grandfather
thing,
or
yeah.
great grandfather had.
Like everybody kind of has an encounter or understanding of this thing, that it is out there. We all know it's there, and it really stands out.
Well, I'm trying to remember the word that my mom said that they said, which I think translated to wolfman. It was lupo. Jeez, what the hell is it? Lupo Mineros? Lupo. It was something in Italian, but I knew that lupo meant wolf.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And man, I don't remember what that was. Oh, come on, brain! I need you to work for me now. It was something that they said, was lupo. What was it? Anyway, it was Italian, so wolfman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew lupo, which I knew meant wolf.
Yeah.
And whatever the Italian word is for man. Shame
Yeah.
on me. I should probably know it. It's probably real basic. That's real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've been around, basically, and not just specifically Italian. There's been, on the Irish side, I don't have any Wolfman stories, but there are stories of the Banshee
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
that,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
that my great aunt would tell. And there's a certain, what do you call it, an aura? Not like an aura that's glowing, but there's a certain aura about when some of the old folks, so to speak, or some people that have had the experiences get together and they talk about these things,
Yeah.
or like everybody else just shuts up,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because it's like, this is real. And if you want to believe it, fine. If you don't, I don't
Yeah.
really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You either do or you don't. But
Nobody can take
I
away
feel
your
you can't make
experience.
some of that stuff up. You can tell when somebody's really telling the truth and being like.
Yeah.
And again, usually in their voice, you can hear almost that like
A tremor.
that fear and that like how is this possible? Like, I really did experience that.
Yeah, 'cause,
and
like-
most of them remember every single detail, no matter how many years.
And they talk
pass.
about it like a lot of incidences go where they don't talk about it for 20-something years,
Yeah.
and they remember it like it happened an hour ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did your
It
great
makes an
grandfather
imprint.
freely talk about it, or was it something that was like he only shared when he was around family or you guys?
Honestly, I don't know, because he told us when we asked him.
Hmm.
If my brother and I would ask him, we wouldn't ask him all the time because we just didn't. We
Yeah.
were like, hey, it's great. We used to call him Giant Grandpa because compared to us, he looked huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would call him Giant Grandpa. And God bless him, he was a great man. Big hands. I'd hate to have one of them coming towards my face. But he,
And see, even he
his-
was afraid of it.
well, yeah, his whole backyard in Kenilworth, where he lived, was a garden
Wow.
with like little paths going up and down with the grapes and so forth. And my brother and I used to look at the rabbits in the cages in the garage, and we thought they were pets until we happened to see one come out of the oven one day.
Oh my
Like,
God.
no, that's not.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he was very connected through to the earth. So in that respect, he was very connected to the earth that way.
Yeah.
So when he spoke, you can tell when somebody's speaking if they have some kind of legitimacy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
could tell if someone's trying to convince you of something.
Yeah. Or they're
Or-
just
Yeah.
spinning a tale.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and ever since then, I have friends who have what they call their monster, and I have one good friend who's a major, Creature from the Black Lagoon fan.
Oh wow.
And he's
Oh.
he's just he's that guy. Some people like vampire stories. I'm a werewolf guy through and through because of my great grandfather.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and they're
And
werewolf stories, I feel, are
There are some of the real deeper terror.
yeah, like
terror
you said
ones.
it. They have like a
Vampires and
feeling
stuff.
to them. They're so scary.
Because like when you hear about Bigfoot and stuff, you don't think like, okay, if I see this thing,
It's cool.
I have to run. No, like, Bigfoot's more you want to observe it. But if you see a werewolf, like the second it gets a scent on you, or it just has
It's more
that, like
menacing.
you said, that aura about it, that presence, that it
Yes.
projects fear. Like I'm sure.
I think it goes right through your soul.
I'm
That's
sure,
why.
yeah,
Like,
probably.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
probably, it probably
It's like you're
knows
reading
that
its
you're
mind.
there way before that you know it's there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, as an adult, not to be too psychological about it. When you think about, when I was a kid, I always thought like, oh, it must be cool to be a werewolf. But at the same time, you're like, we're kind of a tortured soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of
I was just
Azkaban.
thinking
with
that.
That's what we're
Professor
going to compare it
Lupin.
to. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It's like it's an involuntary thing. It's not like what they call an
No.
animagus where you can do it at will. It's like, oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
full moon, damn it.
And he has to warn everybody to, okay, you're going to have to get away from me
Yeah.
now because I can't control what's
You're
about to
beaten
happen.
and battered up when you get
know,
back to your human form.
Man. In other movies, too, we've seen where, like, they know they're a werewolf and they care about the people
Mm-hmm.
around them, but around this time and day, you don't come near
Yeah.
my house, don't come near this.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah, because quite frankly, I don't care for werewolf movies where they turn into a wolf.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Because that's to me, a werewolf is somebody who's half human, half wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Just turning into a wolf, now you have an episode of When Animals Attack.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like shape-shifting.
You might as well be Cujo or some other, like a dog that's out of control. I mean,
Yeah.
I can understand that. It's got like maybe the red eyes. Okay, cool, but it's still
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
regular wolf.
Yeah.
There's something when it becomes half man, half wolf that is frightening because
Yeah,
it's
that's-
this space between two worlds and not quite either one. Like
Yeah.
in the movie Lady Hawk,
Yeah.
where during the day, she's a hawk, during the night he's a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, that's sort of different, but you're like when you're like half and half of something. You're not quite one, you're not quite the other. So what kind of a tortured soul,
Yeah.
so to speak, is that.
Yeah,
so
and
when
whether
they're
they
just
remember anything,
Yeah.
because some
Yeah.
stories they say they don't remember. They know they're doing something bad, but they don't always remember.
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't really care
And are
for
they all
if they
bad?
turn into like wolves,
Yeah,
like regular wolves, because then it's just an animal movie.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a regular animal.
yeah, yeah. Well, we have another person who's going to be sharing her personal experience, and
Cool.
that was one where it actually happened specifically to her. But
Wow.
yeah, so
One that took over how many years? Almost 20 something years more.
yeah. Well,
For
I
the-
think her family member is going to share it
Yeah.
because she was
Wow.
afraid. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
we'll
amazing.
cover that when we're going to bring her in next. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, awesome stories. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
oh,
Not a
thanks
problem.
so
My
much,
pleasure.
Gene.
Yeah.
All right, my problem, guys. Listen, just everybody have a good night and more
Yeah.
werewolf stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hide
Yep,
out from that full
yep.
moon.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. Take
got it.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So now we're going to talk to our next guest so she can share another story.
Yes. We're going to be calling our friend Michelle. And we're going,
And she's going to share a story from one of her family members.
yes, somebody close to her, very close.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Great. Can
Good.
you hear us all right?
Yep, I can hear you really good.
Perfect.
You have
Can
to-
you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yep.
I'm loud enough, not too loud?
No,
No,
that's perfect.
you're perfect.
Just like you're in here.
We have you right up to the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Are we on now?
Yes, we
Yes,
are.
we
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we mentioned right when we finished with Jean's story that you had a story that you're going to share from a family member because she wasn't very comfortable sharing
Yeah, no,
it.
she wasn't comfortable at all. It scared the living hell out of her for quite a long time until she finally opened up to me just about a week ago about it.
wow. Oh, that's amazing.
First time, right? She never mentioned
give us
this
the
to
backstory.
anybody.
No, she did not talk to anybody. Honest to God, she thought she was being punished from like something evil for what she did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, she was really, really scared. And she knew what I was into and what I liked and how I had contact with you. So she figured this is a safe bet that I could talk to, me about it. And then I talked to you about it, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So do you want to set up the story with what she experienced and when that was I'm not
Yeah,
how long
yeah,
ago it
I'll
was.
About
just
an
go
age
down.
just about.
Yeah, I could go down the lowdown of basically what she told me, and it is exactly what I'm telling you. That's what happened. I mean, I'm still quite surprised over it myself. I mean, it's a really wild story,
Yeah.
but I mean, she's terrified, but I think she feels a lot better now about it, but it
Yeah.
still freaks her
It's
out.
so
But
traumatizing.
yeah. It happened 27 years ago. She was 36 years old, and it happened in Dothan, Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah, in Alabama. She was alone for quite a few years, and she used to go to this hair salon and work on it on the weekends when her ex-husband used to take her daughter. Her daughter was still really young then, and she wasn't involved with anybody. She was alone, and she used to just work at this little hair salon on the weekends to make extra money. And it just so happened one Saturday afternoon, she was working, and this guy came in. And she said, Michelle, when he looked directly into my eyes, she said it was almost like she knew him, like it was this connection she couldn't quite grasp. She said it's something she never felt in her life. She said that, it was just some kind of weird connection. And he had olive skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, on the thin side. She said he was the most handsome, gorgeous guy she had ever seen in her life. And I was like, okay, go on. I'm waiting for something bad. And she said she just thought to herself, wow. And then he said to her, do you have time to, fit me in for a haircut? And she said, yeah, sure. And she said, did you want your hair washed? And he said, yes, please. So she said, okay, come on over, follow me. And she said she was a nervous wreck washing his hair. So she, of course, when they wash your hair, how you're leaning over them.
Yeah.
She said, she said, Michelle, I thought I was going to squirt him in his face with the water. She goes, I could not stop staring at him, and it was mutual. She said it was just this weird, she goes, it just never happened to me before.
Yeah.
So she washed his hair and everything. And as she was washing his hair, she was thinking to herself, I have got to have this guy. I've got to have him. And I'm like, you did not. She's like, Michelle.
Like he was a dessert.
Like something like overcame her. Jeez.
I mean, she wasn't with a guy for a long time.
Yeah.
She sees this gorgeous guy, and she's just like, I had to have him.
And he was
really
probably doing
did.
the same with her, the way you're saying.
The way he
so
was,
she was his. Oh wait, she was his dessert too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. So anyway, she got done washing his hair, and when she got done washing his hair, she literally wrote her number down on a piece of paper and handed it to him before she went and sat him over into a chair. I said, you literally gave him your phone number? And she's like, Michelle, like I said, it was just something I automatically just did. I was like, wow. So she did that. And then after his haircut, he came over to her and he put a card with his number on it and a $10 bill in her smock pocket and asked her, what time do you get off work? So she said 5 o'clock. And he said, well, can I give you a call? And she said, yeah, most definitely. A couple minutes after 5 o'clock, he called. He said, can I come over? And she said, yes. Just like that. I'm like, I said, he came to your house? She said, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
gave
a
him my
strong
address.
connection. Like
That's a
they're
really,
animal
you have to be
magnetism.
really certain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like, you invited this strange guy to your house. She said, yeah. She said, Michelle, I wasn't thinking of any consequences.
Yeah.
All I knew is that I needed to have him.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I would think like you'd meet out at a bar. Or I said,
get to know
were you
him.
drinking that day? She's like, no, I wasn't drinking.
Some kind of special shampoo.
Yeah, I know, right? So she said, yeah, you could come over. She gave him his address, and he showed up at her house 7 o'clock sharp. So with that, she opened the door. She said hi. He came in, and she said, we walked over to the couch and sat on the couch for a little bit and started talking. She said, just small talk. And she said, I only had one thing, Michelle, on my mind. And she's like, please don't judge me. I'm like, I'm not judging you. Get on with the story. So she said, Michelle, after we had a little small talk, I grabbed him by his hand and I led him to the bedroom. I said, you did not. She said, I did. She said, don't judge. I said, okay, all right. So she led him to the bedroom and they kissed, undressed, and got busy. And
Right.
she said after her deed was completed, she said he literally flipped her over with this manpower. Like she said, Michelle, I was flipped in seconds like a pancake. I was like, what? She said, Michelle, he just flipped me over like I was a pancake.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And she said, then he was on top. And she said, it was like within 1 minute. And as he was completing his deed, you could say, she said, she said, Michelle, I looked at this man. And she said, I have never she goes, it was the craziest thing ever. She said, his eyes were completely red. I said, you mean like bloodshot? She's like, no, Michelle, the whole eye was completely red, both eyes. I was like, all right, that's a little creepy.
Yeah.
She says, oh, it gets better. She said his eyebrows were like in a high peak, like a V. And she said his hair stood completely up. Like he had a really nice short haircut, guy's haircut. And she said, Michelle, his hair was completely standing up. Like you put mousse in it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
interesting.
All right. And then she said, Michelle, he started this moan. She said it was coming from his stomach. She goes, it was this deep moan that I have never heard in my life. She goes, it sounded like an animal. And I started laughing because I'm like waiting for the punchline. And she's like, Michelle, I'm not messing with you. I'm dead serious. She's like, he started moaning like it. She goes, it was a moan that I've never heard before. And then she said, and then the grand finale was he opened his mouth and she said his teeth were all sharp, like all jagged. And she said he literally had this thick saliva coming off all of his teeth, like drooling down on her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She said she was never so scared
terrifying.
in
In
all
that
her
moment, what
life.
did she do?
So with that, she said she looked up at him and she said it looked just like a wolf. It looked like a wolf standing over her. So she was terrified. She said the only thing she could think to do at that second was she pushed him off and grabbed the sheet off the bed and wrapped it around herself and ran into the living room and just froze on the couch, sat on the couch. I said, you sat on the couch? I said, I think I would have ran out in the
I was
sheet
just going
into
to
my
say, I
Yeah,
would
I'm
have
in
went out
the
the
front
door.
lawn.
ran outside.
Yeah. Flagging
like,
down
I
the
would've
first
ran
car.
for the hills. Yeah. And she said, Michelle, I was so scared. She goes, I didn't know what
Yeah,
was
she
going
was
to happen. She goes,
frozen.
honestly, I thought he was going to come after me and kill me. And I was
Shock.
like, oh my God. She goes, I was just frozen. She goes, I didn't know what to do. Here I am naked, wrapped in a sheet. All I could think of is his face, these red eyes, these teeth with all this saliva coming off of it. She said, I thought he was going to like bite me. And she goes, I thought I was a goner. And she said, the next thing I knew, a couple minutes later, she said, Michelle, I swear to God, she said he came out of the bedroom looking as good as when he went in. I was like, what? She said his hair wasn't out of place.
Wow.
His eyes were perfectly clear. He just looked over at me sitting on the couch. She said, I was trembling in the corner. And she said, Michelle, all I could mumble out of my mouth in a firm voice was, good night. Just like she was just like, good night. And I said, well, what did he say to you? Did he say
what was
anything
that?
about what
Sorry.
happened? And she said, no. She said, he said absolutely nothing. She said, he looked down and she said, Michelle, it's so weird. He literally looked sad. Like he almost was hurt by me saying good night, like stern. She said he just put his head down like he was ashamed or something, and he didn't say nothing. He put his head down, walked calmly over to the door, opened the door, walked out. She never, ever set eyes on him again. She flew off that couch, locked the door. She didn't know who. She said, who am I going to call and tell this to? Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, who's going to believe me? She can't call the cops. Like, she had no, she said, Michelle, I got in the shower. I probably stayed in there for a good hour and just cried and just kept washing and washing, wondering what the hell did I just sleep with? And she was thinking to herself, was I punished? She goes, that wasn't me. Like, she goes, I don't know what the hell happened. I really don't. I invite this strange guy into my house and just sleep with him just like that. She said, I thought it was like my punishment for doing something really bad. And I really had no idea. Like, I didn't even know what to say to her. I was just like, you know something? I don't think it was anything demonic. I don't think it was evil. I said, but honest to God, like, I thought it was like an alien in disguise. I said, maybe it's an alien that wants to know what it's like to be with a human. I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, but I do know somebody that might be able to figure it out for you.
Well, the thing
So-
is, too, is they, like you said, there was something about the chemistry, too, that she was drawn to him, so she was, like, kind of under that.
Well, he gave her
You
that
know.
look of kind of lust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind of
And
pulled
so
her
he
in.
drew her in.
Drew her
and
right in.
When he
Yeah.
probably couldn't control, like they say with werewolves and
Right,
things
when
like
it
that,
was
they
his
can't always
magical
control
time,
it.
he
Yeah.
probably lost it and
Yeah.
started to turn.
Yeah.
And when he walked out of the bedroom, it's not like he was a regular human. Oh, what's going on? What's wrong? What's going on?
No, you could
know?
tell he was
He's
he
just
was
like,
quiet and
"Oh,
put his head
geez,
down. He
sorry,
knew,
it happened again.
he knew, yeah.
Something like that. If
know.
he put his head down, and that's amazing. Never saw him again, huh? Never came back in
Nope.
to see her. Nothing,
Never
right?
seen him again.
Never back in the
seen
shop?
him at the salon.
Wow.
Never to be seen again. And I said to her, I said, what would you, I said, he came out of the bedroom. He looked really good. I said, you didn't have it in you to just say
Like,
to
what
him,
are you?
what just happened in there?
Yeah.
She said, Michelle, I just wanted him gone. She
Yeah.
said, I
Yeah.
was terrified.
Yeah.
I was trembling.
It's a scary thing. Plus, he was right on top of her, and she was looking at it, like, right in
Yeah.
his face. See, I
Yeah.
mean,
Seeing the red eyes, though.
like I said,
is,
it's like a shock.
you know.
You're in because you don't know what just happened, and then your brain is trying to analyze it
no,
and
that
understand
stuff doesn't
it.
happen every day, and your brain reacts shock, like you just said it.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
The hair standing up in the back of his everything. It's
But that's
crazy.
also why she kept it to herself for so many years. That's a long time.
Think about it. When you're an animal of like that type of a wolf or a dog or a coyote, like the hair in the back stands up when they're excited,
Yeah, their
or they're
shackles
scared,
stand
or
up,
they're
yeah.
all exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So the fact
I mean,
that was
I
happening.
can't even
to him,
imagine that.
No.
She
no.
said even his eyebrows were peaked, and she said his hair was literally standing up, complete like there was
Oh my
moose in
gosh.
it.
in that primal moment, she saw him for what he was. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Halfway.
and she said it
Yeah,
scared the
halfway.
living hell
Yeah,
out of her. She
halfway.
had no idea
'Cause
what
he was
was
still
on
human.
top of her.
So
And she said to see the saliva, thick saliva coming
Ew.
out of his mouth off of those jagged teeth. She said he had beautiful teeth, beautiful. And she said they were all chipped and jagged. And she said, I've never in my life, she said, all these years, she just lived in fear, wondering what was it that she mated with. Like, it
Yeah.
was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So when she threw him off, she didn't wait to see what he was,
Oh, no.
how he was going to react. She just like
She
ran out
she
of the
ripped
room.
the sheet, literally, she ripped the top sheet off the bed, wrapped it around her, and just ran out of the bedroom. She didn't look back, because I said, well, did he start to look normal right after? She
Yeah.
goes, I opened that door so fast, I went out, sat on the corner of the couch. She said, I was trembling. I could not believe what I just seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean-
and even the fact that she was able to, well, she obviously pulled up enough adrenaline to toss him off.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't like he was pinning her down.
No.
Not at all. It was
Yeah. It
just
doesn't
like,
sound like it was being
in his
forceful.
No,
moment,
it doesn't sound like he
It's-
was
in his
being.
moment,
She just-
he,
yeah.
he turned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that belch and that loud yelp he did kind of
Yeah.
was like, what's going on back there? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah, it's not like he was being aggressive to her.
no, it doesn't grab her, didn't
No,
scratch her,
personally.
it didn't hurt her in any way, didn't like try to stop her from leaving. He just simply,
No,
you know, like,
nothing.
uh-oh.
He was very, very, I mean, she said it was the best sex she ever had in her life.
Now, was he
I
around
mean,
the same age as her,
Oh.
or was does she know like how old he was?
Yeah, she thought he was around the same age.
Okay.
Yep, around the same age. And she said, Michelle, his look is just burned in my head. She said he was beyond beautiful.
Yeah.
And she said, when we just met eyes, it was just something I knew that I had to have. She says, I never looked at a guy and was like, oh, I got to sleep with him. She said, never, ever did I ever feel that way.
Yeah.
She said, you go out for a few drinks, you meet, you go out a few times. She says, nope. She
Build
said,
some kind of
I just
relationship.
wanted to have sex with this man immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's
wow.
like Rodney
And
said.
she-
He had like the pull of like
He
a
had
lust.
that gaze. He had
Yeah.
that because we've heard of certain things.
Yeah,
that
it's like
are
he
able
put
to
a
do
spell
that.
over
Yeah, it's
her.
like how vampires
Vampires
glamour.
can gay glamour,
Yeah,
they call it.
yeah.
You know, remember the succubus?
Yeah.
They have the ability to gaze
Yeah.
like their prey to make them fall in love with them
Yeah.
and stuff.
But that's why they call it. There's
Yeah.
like an animal, like you said.
It's an
There's an animal
animal
magnetism that they pull.
Animalistic, yeah.
Pull, like you said, very primal.
Especially if that's a higher like being that has a different type of energy and can bring out that thing in a human, can kind of get next to you and raise you up too to kind of get you to do what he wants. You know, not in a forceful way, but more of a, you know, willing.
Oh
I
no,
guess.
it was in
You
a
know,
good way.
like,
He got her,
they-
boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and I said to her, I said, you worked in that salon how many months and you never seen him? She said, nope. He never came in. And she worked there after, never came in.
Wow.
That was it. That was done. So it's the mystery now.
Yeah.
That's some story.
Well, maybe he saw her through the window or something, and he was drawn to her as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure.
Who knows? He could have been following her for weeks for all we know. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
Maybe he's
creepy.
seen her in a supermarket or God only knows. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's just weird. She didn't have her daughter. Her daughter was always with the dad on the weekends, and she worked extra on the weekends for extra money because she was a single mom. And that's where she was on the weekends. And this just happened out of the blue.
Yeah, crazy
And
story.
she said it just feels so good to release it now.
Yeah.
Like to just, she says, like, she was like, you don't think I'm crazy? I'm like, no,
course not.
I don't
absolutely
think
not.
she's
No, because
realized
there's a lot of people that have
there's a lot of
extremely
people have some
similar stories.
odd experiences, and
Yeah.
regardless of what it is they
What
come
action?
across.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And that was me. Like, I didn't, of course, through my mind, right away, I was thinking, was it an alien? Like, right away, my
Yeah, you
mind
like
went
those-
out there.
She likes
thinking-
aliens.
With the ET stuff, that's a big
She's an ET
topic too. But
person.
yeah, this story right here is pretty parallel to some ET stories that I've heard regarding this same
I mean,
thing. They're pretty
they
much the
say
same
they
thing.
come like the Men in Black, so, well, maybe it was a course
There's something
of
about
fire
sexual
change.
energy that is addicting to those kind of creatures. There's something about that act that is extremely, obviously pleasurable, but
Did she happen to say if she noticed if he had any extra hair on him when that happened, or he didn't get to that part of the transformation yet?
I don't think at that point, she was just fixed on his face.
Yeah.
Like those teeth, like she said, his eyes turning red, and then his hair, his eyebrows, then his teeth. I honestly don't think she even got to see the rest of his body. I think because at that point, that's when she pushed him off
Yeah.
and wrapped the sheet around her. I don't even think she
wanted to
thought
let-
she was going to get killed at that point.
Especially if she immediately was like, "Oh my God, he looks like a wolf."
Yeah.
That was probably like, I don't want to get to the rest of the part when he's completely a wolf.
Yeah, the red
Yeah.
eyes is not for me. You see that?
Yeah.
Like,
you-
she
you
didn't know if he
assume
was going to
the
come out
worst.
and bite her, attack her.
Yeah.
She had no idea. She said, Michelle, I thought that was really it. I thought it was it. Like, I was sitting there trembling, saying, okay, what's going to be next now when he comes out of the bedroom? And I was like, why didn't you just run out the door? She goes, when you're that scared, she goes, Michelle, I panicked.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
paralyzed.
I've seen people
Paralyzed with
completely
fear.
paralyzed and not be able to move, like go to their knees
Yep.
and literally freeze in panic.
Yeah, no,
Just
she
a
was
reaction in the
shaking.
brain.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad she let you share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so am I, because now at least she feels better. I mean, I can't imagine going all these years with that story, not being able to share it with anybody. But she said, who am I going to share that with? Think about what they're going to tell me, Michelle.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who have like amazing like experiences with things like that, cryptids or aliens, Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires,
All of it.
and there's a lot of them that keep the stories to themselves because they think people are going to think they're crazy. And regardless of what you've seen, and if you're talking to people like us, where we pretty much, if like we believe in there's a possibility for anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're not going to debunk something that's like, okay, there's other things that could be. But when you're listening to somebody's story and you feel the terror in them and the fear and just the, like, I can't even believe I'm telling you this because I can't believe it's real myself. You know when they're authentic. And we were just talking to the guest we had on before you, and that's what we were talking about, how you just know when somebody's being authentic and that it was something they truly experienced because you can feel it. You can feel it off of them.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Right.
You just pay
Yeah, like,
attention.
I mean, she was scared telling me.
Yeah.
And I think what lightened it up then was she knows I'm single. And I just looked at her and I said, damn, why can't that happen to me?
Well,
She just
want some
looked
red
at
eyes?
me. She looked at me like I had 50 heads.
Yeah.
She's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
I said, no,
No,
I'm not. I
you-
said, I believe in all that stuff. I said, what a great story that would be. I said, I'd be telling the world.
I was
She
just
goes,
gonna say-
You would let him
"They
turn
would
you
lock
into
your
one."
ass
Michelle
up."
would be interviewing him. Now, how did you get this way? What is it? What's the next step you go
Yeah.
to? Like, can you remember it?
Can I do
What
it
do you
too?
look like? Yeah, right?
Then I'd be saying, did you grow a tail too?
Yeah.
You have a tail?
Yeah. I mean, there's some people that get that, like, that stuff is just amazing. And to them, it's just so cool that they don't even. There isn't
I
even a
am
chance
just-
for fear to creep in. But then,
Some
but
people are
but
all
like
for
we
it.
were talking about earlier, when it comes to werewolves, it's the one topic. Like, we talk about a lot of different topics, and people they're scared, and they might be, they have a lot of fear and things like. No matter what we're talking about, whether it's ghosts or negative entities or aliens, or like we were talking about Bigfoot in previous episodes, regardless of what it is, the one topic we noticed there is this deep fear because it comes through as so menacing
Yeah.
to people is werewolves.
We've
And it's
listened-
because it hits people for some reason, the energy from it hits people so
It hits
deep.
them in the instincts.
Yeah.
It hits them in that primal part that makes them, terrified.
Yeah.
And
But don't you think a vampire, it hit people the same with a
it
vampire?
could,
or no?
but I feel like, there's remedies for vampires when it comes to that. There's silver bullets. There's the wooden stake in the heart. Then they're also more
garlic.
human-like. Sure they can bite you. Yes,
Yeah.
they're super fast. There's a lot of things they could
Yeah.
take. Sure,
Yeah,
there's still a fear
daylight.
there too.
There's certain things that
if
they're
she had said
pigeonholed
that
to,
she
yeah.
turned around and saw fangs, all that stuff, like, it would still be the same kind of terror, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, think about it.
Yeah.
You're in the woods. There's this beast. It's
Yes,
you
and
know,
she experienced
there's
him in,
no
in everyday
chance.
life. It was like you said, 7
Came to
o'clock
her
at night.
work. Came to her home.
know?
To her bed.
Did she notice if there was a full moon? Did she know? What I mean? That's why, like, I was asking.
Yeah.
those
What type? What kind of?
questions.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, to know what
This
type
is
of.
somebody
I
walking
have
around.
I have no idea.
'Cause if
I
it was
said to her,
around
I
the
said,
full moon,
"Do you
you'd be
know
looking
his-"
for that.
I said, do you know his last name? We could look him up. I'll go
Jesus.
check him out. She's like, Michelle, are you out of your
You don't wanna
mind?
do that.
Did she know his
And-
first name?
I don't remember if
I'm
she
sure at
told
the
me
time
his
they
first
introduced
name or
themselves
not.
to each other at the time, but
Well, it's like Teen Wolf. He turned when he would get angry, right?
Yep, yes, absolutely.
so,
Extreme emotions can
yes.
also cause a turning. Too,
And that
they
wasn't
say.
when it was just the full moon. Then.
And listen, during that action, they were in the middle of doing it. So in that intensity of passion
emotion,
and emotion and feeling, it probably caused him to kind of flip a little bit during that act.
Well,
maybe
the
it
way
happens
he
every time
flipped
to
her-
him. It may happen to him every time.
Yep.
Maybe,
I mean,
if
the
it's
way
that
he
intense.
flipped her was, she said, Michelle, it was like I was like a piece of paper.
Yeah.
He flipped
The
me over
strength.
so fast, I didn't know it hit me.
Wow.
And then she said it was a matter of a minute. I'm looking at his face and this just huge transformation all of a sudden. She said it was the most crazy thing and terrifying that I've ever seen.
Yeah, got goosebumps on that one.
Crazy. It's crazy. That's a
I
crazy
said, well,
story.
I said, we need to go hunt him down
In a
next
good
time I
way.
come out to Alabama.
Alabama.
I teased her to this day. She's like, I'm never going to live this down, am I? I'm like, no. I said, that's just envy and jealousy. That's all that is. I said, don't worry about it. It's a good thing. And she goes, well, I guess I,
I don't
told
think
the right
she
person.
thinks so.
I don't think so. She's probably
No.
a little violated.
I think
No.
the good thing about that is she, at the time, she realized, even like by the time he left, that it wasn't something that intentionally meant her harm. And a lot of stories you hear about werewolves, they're like, the people are talking about like all the, them, obviously being very harmful.
Yeah.
So there's so many different, beliefs and a lot of folklore around them, and there being different types. Like we were talking about, ones that are affected by the full moon, ones that aren't. Maybe they're more, maybe they've transformed or morphed into.
There's some that they call, I forgot the name. It's a term that they describe, but at will they can kind of switch back and forth. Just not like a shapeshifter, but just do a wolf.
Or through emotions, or because their official term is lycanthrope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think most people, like Gene was talking about, how they have it in their whatever country, the name they, give to each of their, what do you want to call them? Like the beast or whatever they call it. Like,
beast of the land, there's a lot of them.
Whether it's a wolf man or a werewolf or a dog man. Like I said, a lot of people talk about them.
When I think about it, when you think of like ETs and other folklore, it's almost like some of those things like Bigfoot are on a higher plane, on a higher vibration. So like we kind of have to be a little bit more raised. But wolves, these things come down to our level and even more primal, which is lower, and there's more terror and fear involved. Everything about that thing just. And
what if it is somebody who had that happen to them and they can't change it? So they're trying to go about their life.
How do you think he got that way? If
it's just,
let's just say for argument's sake that this is all legit. It really happened, and he really did shapeshift into something during that intense action. How does he have to deal with that? If he walked out with his head down, kind of in embarrassment or shame, he probably didn't want to do. He probably don't want to do that. But,
right.
Who knows? Was there a full moon where he was feeling intense that day, where he had to find somebody? Somebody to lock onto.
Yeah.
And how is there no person who is that hasn't shared that and then had anybody do anything where they could like kind of evaluate like how is that possible, like how, right? Because like a lot of people, like they're not catching vampires, they're not catching werewolves,
and it's always a guy too. Where's the werewomen? Don't they have mates?
Well, it's funny because I said what are the chances maybe,
they're always dudes.
Just
why are they
maybe,
dudes?
The story was meant to be told to help some people. I said, how many people did this happen to? And they're terrified.
I guarantee you.
So maybe it'll help them out a little to know. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You can't take away somebody's experience, This is something that was really felt by somebody, so it's important to kind of look at it from their point of view. How do you accidentally see red eyes?
Amazing.
How do you accidentally hear a horrible roar? And you don't. If it happened, it happened.
And how do you talk to people when you've seen something and they're going to look at you with 10 heads? I mean, even I've seen stuff and told the story, alone. And people looked at me, even doing this work, they look at me
Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Shit, are they
they're
right?
like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you really saw that. And I'll be like, oh, okay. I didn't,
it's
like
easier
some
just
people
to keep your mouth
believe you
shut.
and some people don't.
Really
so I think a lot of people learn to, listen, I'm not going to bother sharing that. Because I already know these people aren't going to, they're just going to dismiss it and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And that was her. She didn't want to share it. And then finally, after a couple days being with me, she shared it.
Well, she felt comfortable. She knew.
Yeah.
And you're into things that, that aren't unexplainable.
Oh, yeah, no. She knew by everything that I'm into, what I have, what I do. She knew, I think, that she was halfway home with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she felt comfortable. And then when, of course, I was talking to her about you and Rodney, I think that was the final straw of, okay, this is a safe zone.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely got...
There's no judgment.
I definitely got the
There's no
confirmation that what she saw is what she saw. So, it definitely is an experience that she had and didn't, she saw it exactly as it was.
Right.
Crazy, though, but she gets to have that for the rest of her life.
I want to interview him
now. She needs to, in a good way.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I keep telling her.
It's okay.
That's what I keep telling her, and she's just like, if it happened to you, you would understand more.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
it's
It's
I
easy
don't
for us to say this
know.
here.
Well,
That's true.
like people were saying, for some reason, when it comes to that specific animal,
Just the sheer vulnerability
person animal,
of,
they the fear runs so deep. It's like goes down. We were talking about that, like goes into your soul type of thing.
And
that
your automatic
can't
response
explain
happens
it,
too.
which is probably why
The
she was
body,
so attracted
we
to him.
have
It's
kind
that
of an
same type
automatic
of thing.
response. The hair on the back of the neck.
Yeah.
The pit feeling, the jelly legs.
Well, but we can be scared of things, but to have it like where it's like going.
No, how they connect in
like-
with you is different.
Yeah, like going, like literally running through your veins.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing is similar to her feeling like how she was drawn to him on a a sexual level
she
too.
was
right?
picking up on his
where
desires.
she just couldn't get enough of him.
Yeah, it
And-
was immediate.
Yeah,
When he
and that's how
walked
deep
through
it was
that
the
door,
other way too.
Well, it's an intense thing. It's an
Yup.
intense act on top of it being
Mm-hmm.
with a supernatural being.
And like you said, when you mentioned primal, because if you think about it, that's how animals are. They sound like they're being murdered sometimes
and
when
sometimes
they're
they're not.
mating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you hear cats mate, it sounds like a murder
Yeah.
scene, but it's just part of the way they do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Turtles, most
Can
animals.
you imagine somebody over you making that noise?
No,
It probably
but
scared
that's
the
what
living
she.
hell out
That's
of
why she was saying it to you that way. She's like, if you were in that situation, we might think it's cool, but if we're actually in it, we might be like, oh my god, this doesn't
Sure.
feel good.
Sure, watching a murder movie
This
versus
is
being in it.
terrifying me. Yeah,
It's different.
Yeah.
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 It's really
Well,
cool.
that's-
It's a cool story.
It
It's
is.
something that I'll never forget. Even for Christmas, I bought her a T-shirt out of Spencer's with a werewolf on it. She's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Own that, baby.
Yeah.
I'm telling
It's all
you,
good
boy.
now.
Forget it. I said, "You'll never live this down with me." And I said, "Just always know it's a good thing."
Yeah, what
It's
a great
very
story
good
to
thing.
share.
That's an intense story.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yep.
I don't know. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
No,
So do
I
I.
think it's cool to have for
I know,
a story
I know.
to share.
It's an
like to-
amazing story.
to-
It's something
to
that you're
know-
not going to come across.
even though it was
very often.
scary, that once you're able to like be like, oh, okay, this was a supernatural experience, and that's in like one in how many million,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
yeah,
And she just keeps asking me, "Why me?" I
Why
said,
not?
"Oh, he
Why
obviously
not
found
you?
you sexy. What could I
Yeah.
tell you?" Like, I didn't know what to say.
It's
You know,
okay.
like,
Why
what
not?
do you
You're-
tell
'cause-
someone?
yeah.
Why me?
well, maybe because they knew 27 years from now she was going to be able to share it, and somebody else needed to hear that it happened to somebody else.
There you go.
See that?
That's a good analogy.
I'm always
Most
like, why
definitely.
not? Why not her?
Yeah,
or
why
why
not?
not us? It's just
Why not me?
It's just random. Watch, Michelle will have like
I don't
five
think the wolf's ready for
werewolves.
that.
A werewolf,
Don't be
a
all
vampire, an
Jesus
alien.
Christ.
She'll have one of each. You'll have the swinging door.
Yup,
funny.
that's it. Bring them on in. I'll take the werewolves, the vampires, the aliens.
Couple big feet.
Yeah.
Yup, there you go.
Wow. Well,
No
great. That's
problem.
great. Thanks for calling
Well,
and telling us
yes.
that story for
Yeah,
on behalf
tell her
of
thank
No
you for
problem.
letting you share
You're very
it.
welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. I enjoyed. All right,
Yes.
guys. Have a good night.
All right,
too.
you too.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye.
Bye. Oh, those were amazing.
Crazy. That was a great story.
Yeah,
That was a great
yeah.
story. It really was.
Yeah.
That's not something you hear very often, and especially from coming from someone who experienced it. Not,
Yeah. Well, just the fact that it was held for almost 30 years
Yeah.
because there was such it's scary. And also, how do you process it? I would probably, a lot of people, even ourselves, maybe when we were younger or in our 20s or whatever, if something like that happened, we don't know how we'd respond
No.
and when we would be okay
That's
with
most
sharing
situations in our lives, a lot of the time, when you think back of all the things that we've been through, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. You just, it's one of those things where
Well,
we all
I'd rather
have to
take a million
experience
ghosts maybe instead
Yeah.
of like, I don't know how I'd be doing with a werewolf either. Just even seeing what they
No,
are scary.
because if we're out and we see something that can, in this situation, there's really nothing I'm going to be able to do if this thing wants to take me.
Yeah.
You know, it's complete vulnerability. It's uncomfortability. It's everything. Fear. It's all of it happening at the same time.
You know what's interesting too, because we've listened to some people sharing their stories, and a lot of them are men sharing the story, talking about how terrified they were that when they saw what they did, because they couldn't process how am I seeing this or how is this real, and almost like if there was more than one, like there were a group of friends or something, they're just looking at each other like,
especially in kind of person.
Do we talk about this, and is this really what we're seeing?
It also depends on the kind of personality you have, because if you're somebody who refuses to believe in something like this, it might take you years to even come to the fact that maybe it was real. You know, like a lot of people, it just depends on how you feel, you know, in the moment. You don't know.
So thank you again to Jean and Michelle for sharing their stories.
Yes.
And for Michelle's family member for letting her share her story. And we will definitely do another show on this topic again. That way Mark and Dana can be part of it. And I know they would have a lot of questions. So so thanks again, everybody.
Yep. Don't forget to comment in the section down below and interact and everything. We'd love to hear your stories.
Yep. Yeah, definitely share your stories if you have any.
Yeah. So thank you all very much. It was great.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.